Hello and welcome friends. In this video we will discuss about theorems of complex analysis, limit of involving points at in. Suppose we have limit of f of z tends to z0 equal to small w0 and another function capital F of z tends to z0 limit is equal to capital W0, then limit of small f of z plus capital F of z tends to z0 equal to w0 plus capital W0. To prove this, let us see the proof. Here let f of z, small f of z equal to u plus iv and capital F of z equal to capital U plus I into capital V. Suppose that z0 equal to x0 plus I y0, small w0 equal to u0 plus I v0, capital W0 equal to capital U0 plus I into capital V0. Now what we have to show that this mod of f small f of z plus capital F of z minus W0 plus capital W0 is less than epsilon whenever z minus z0 is less than delta. This is we want to prove. Now so here that is, let us calculate this f of z u plus iv plus f small value of small f of z, value of capital F of z, u0 plus I v0 capital V0 minus w0 u0 plus I into V0 plus capital U0 plus I into capital V0 equal to, so this will be, this is equal to mod of, we write this as a u plus iv minus u0 plus I into V0 plus capital here this is not a 0, this is u, capital U plus I into V minus capital U0 plus I into capital V0. Now applying the modulus property, this is less than equal to mod of u plus iv minus u0 plus iv0 plus mod of capital U plus iv minus capital U0 plus iv0. Okay, so let us call this as equation number 1. Now friend, what is given? Since it is given that limit of f of z equal to w0, that means mod of f of z minus w0 is less than, we consider epsilon by 2, therefore for epsilon greater than 0 there exists a delta greater than 0 such that 0 less than mod of z minus z0 is less than, we consider it as a delta 1, right. Now what is this mod of f of z minus w0? This is a u plus iv and w0, what is w0? This is a u0 plus iv0 is less than epsilon by 2. Similarly, limit of capital F of z is equal to capital W0. So there exists a double delta 2 here, limit of therefore we write it as a capital U plus IV minus capital U0 plus I into V0 is a less than epsilon by 2 whenever 0 is less than Z minus Z0 is less than delta 2. Now we have two numbers delta 1 and delta 2. As we know, mod of Z minus Z0 is a circle whose center is Z0 and whose radius is delta 1. So we have here taken two circles. This is my point Z0, suppose this is a circle having radius delta 1, and this is another circle, suppose this is delta 2 having radius delta 2. So there are common points for which these both conditions are satisfied, means mod of U plus IV minus U0 plus IV0, this is one point, this is less than epsilon by 2, and mod of capital U plus IV minus capital U0 plus IV0 is less than epsilon by 2 for this minimum. Let us take this is a minimum delta, which is a minimum of delta 1 comma delta 2, and as usual in the real number. So these two conditions are valid for mod of Z minus Z0 is less than delta. Now using equation 2, you can see that for this minimum value for of 0 less than mod of Z minus Z0 is less than delta, this term f of z plus capital F of z minus W0 plus capital W0 is less than epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2 equal to epsilon, and therefore we can say that limit of this function is equal to limit of this combined function, addition function f of z, small f of z, limit of this limit of small f of z plus capital F of z equal to small w0 plus capital W0. Definition is satisfied. Okay. Now let us take the product of two functions. What happen whenever we consider the two functions? Suppose that again, suppose here, suppose again consider that limit of small f of z equal to small w0, z tends to 0, and limit of capital F of z, z tends to z0 equal to capital W0, then limit of small f of z into capital F of z equal to small w0 into capital W0. This is we want to show. Okay. So friend, if we consider z0 is equal to, again let us take x0 plus iy0, then w0 equal to u0 plus iv0, capital W0 is equal to capital U0 plus I into capital V0, and f of z equal to u plus iv, capital F of z equal to capital U plus I into capital V. Then you can see that f of z into capital F of z equal to u plus iv into capital U plus capital V equal to, let us multiply this, small u into capital U plus I into small u into capital V plus I into small v into capital U plus I square into small v into capital V. I square is nothing but minus 1. So we put minus 1 and we get that small u into capital U plus here that minus term u into capital V plus we can take I common, small u into capital V plus small v into capital U. Now if we directly apply the limit to this term f of z into limit of small f of z into capital F of z equal to limit of this term, limit of small u into capital U minus small v into capital V plus I into u into capital V plus v into capital U. Then since what we have, since as x comma y tends to z x0 comma y0, we have this point u comma v tends to u0 comma v0 and capital U comma capital V tends to capital U0 comma capital V0. Okay. So, this gives us this limiting case, it is a small u0 into capital U0 minus small v0 into capital V0 plus I into small u0 into capital V0 plus small v0 into capital V0. Okay. But what is this? This is product of small u0 plus I into small v0 into capital U0 plus I into small v0. Okay. So, this is W0 into capital W0 and hence limit of f of z into small f of z into capital F of z equal to small u0 W0 into capital W0. So, this is the product of limit. Similarly, we can prove that on the quotient for this limit. That means, if we have two functions again, then small f of z divided by capital F of z, that will be capital, let me write this small f of z, we can prove that then small f of z divided by capital F of z equal to small w0 divided by capital W0. Limit of this term is equal to, we can prove this lemma. Friend, again if c and z0 are the two complex number, then limit of constant, if c and z0 are two complex number, are complex numbers, then for limit of c z tends to z0 equal to again a c, and limit of z tends to z0, this will be z0. Okay. And friend, limit of z raised to n, z tends to z0 equal to z0 raised to n, for n equal to plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2, like this 1 2 3 or here. Okay. Now, limit of polynomial, if f of z is equal to the polynomial, suppose a0 plus a1z plus a2z square plus, then limit of p of z, we can calculate limit of p of z, z tends to z0, this will be a0 plus a1 into z0 plus a2 into z0 whole square plus like this. So, this is about limit. Now, let us see what is the infinity in the complex plane. You are familiar with the infinity in real number. In real numbers r varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, and we know about the real line. In this real line, in the left side we have minus infinite number and in the right side we have plus infinite number. But we have seen that complex numbers, we have an Argand plane where there are real part and complex parts. So, complex number, this complex number are usually denoted by the complex plane. So, we have an complex plane like this. So, this is the complex plane where we have the real line as well, real number as well as complex number. So, what about the infinity in this complex plane? To denote this, let us take the sphere involving which cut the complex plane at the equator. So if this is the sphere which cut the complex plane at the point equator, then you can see that this is my plane and this is which cutting to equator at this point, and this is the north pole of this sphere. Now for this point, suppose this is my point Z, then if we draw a line from north pole to this point, then this point cuts the plane at this point. Suppose this point is a P. That means if we take, this is my Z1, if we take as another points here in this direction, suppose Z2, then you can see that this point is also cuts to the sphere. This point is suppose as a P1 point. Then that means for this point I have a point on the sphere. For this point in the complex plane, this number in the complex plane, I have a point on this sphere P, and for this point in the complex plane I have a point on this sphere. Similarly, if we keep on drawing like this, for every point in the complex plane I have a point on the sphere like this. So there is a one-to-one correspondence between the point on the surface of this plane and the surface on the sphere. But you can see that if we draw the line through this equator which is parallel to this plane, and therefore there is a no point for this equator, and there hence this point is called as a infinity in the complex plane. We assume it as a infinite point in the complex plane. Okay, and as in real numbers there are minus infinity and plus infinity, here we have only plus infinity. Okay, so for this complex plane we have a point at an infinity. This is origin. Then you can see that when this point it as a origin, then this plane centered at the origin having radius 1 divided by epsilon. All the points centered at origin are represented by this circle Z. On all these points on the complex plane are represented by this circle Z equal to 1 by epsilon, and the point greater than this 1 by epsilon, whenever mod of Z exterior to this circle. So these points which are not on this plane greater than this circle are called as infinite. So whenever there is a concept of infinity, this concept of infinity is denoted by mod of Z greater than 1 by epsilon. Okay, that means this is the radius centered at origin whose value is equal to 1 divided by epsilon. Then these points are on this sphere and in this on this surface of the plane. So the point exterior to this circle whose center is at origin is exterior to the circle. Then mod of Z, where mod of Z is greater than 1 divided by epsilon, is a point of infinity. Okay, so using this limit involving the point of infinity, we will prove one theorem regarding this point of infinity. I hope you have get the concept of point involving the limit of infinity. Suppose, so let me write the statement of this theorem. If I have 2 points Z0 and W0 are points in the Z and W plane. So I have taken two planes respectively. Then number 1, then limit of f of z, z tends to z0 equal to infinity if and only if limit of 1 divided by f of z, z tends to z0 equal to 0. Secondly, we have limit of f of z when z tends to infinity equal to w0 if and only if limit of f of 1 divided by z, z tends to 0 equal to w0. And third one, limit of f of z equal to infinity when z tends to infinity. So this will be if and only if limit of 1 divided by f of z, z tends to 0 equal to 0. So let us prove number 1. So by definition, for every positive number greater than 0, there exists a delta greater than 0 such that here what is given, limit of f of z equal to infinity. So that means mod of f of z is greater than 1 divided by epsilon, as I have told you. Whenever this point is an exterior point, it tends to infinity, means mod of f of z is greater than 1 divided by epsilon whenever z 0 less than mod of z minus z0 is less than delta. Okay. Now taking the reciprocal of this, what we get then? 1 divided by f of z is less than epsilon. Taking reciprocal of this, for the same point z0 is less than z minus z0 is less than delta. Okay. So we get that this, therefore this means that limit of 1 divided by f of z, z tends to z0 equal to 0. This is the first point of this theorem. Now let us prove the second point. Second point is what is given? We have limit of f of z, equal to w0 whenever z tends to infinity. Okay. So z tends to infinity means for epsilon greater than 0, again for epsilon greater than 0 there exists delta greater than 0 such that f of z minus w0 is less than epsilon whenever mod of z is greater than 1 divided by delta, right. So now replacing this, taking z, replace z by 1 divided by z. When we replace z by 1 divided by z, what we get? F of z, f of 1 divided by z minus w0 is less than epsilon, and here 1 divided by z, that means z is less than delta. We are replacing, so here z tends to 0 we get, and this implies that limit of f of 1 divided by z equal to w0 whenever limit z tends to 0. Now third part of this, again for epsilon greater than 0 we can apply the same definition of limit. We have limit f of z tends to infinity, here both are tending to infinity, therefore hence what it apply the definition, limit point at infinity, this will be 1 divided by epsilon, mod of f of z greater than 1 divided by epsilon whenever mod z is greater than 1 divided by delta, by using the definition. Okay. Now let us take here 1 divided by z. Now replace z by replacing z by 1 divided by z. Replacing z by 1 divided by z, what we get? F of z 1 by z is greater than 1 by epsilon, but here what we get? This 1 by this z, this will be less than delta. We are changing there, greater than to less than. Now again here 1 divided by f of 1 divided by z. So let us change this, that will be 1 divided by f of 1 by z. This will be less than epsilon, and whenever mod z is less than delta. Okay, so that means here limit of 1 divided by f of 1 by z, z tends to 0, this will be 0. So this proves the third part of this theorem. Okay, now let us write the concept of let us see the concept of continuity. You know friends, function is said to be continuous whenever the condition, what is the continuity? In the limit we have seen that f of z minus w0 whenever is less than epsilon for z minus z0 is less than delta, then we have that limit of f of z equal to w0, z tends to z0. So w0 is any point in the complex plane w. Okay, but whenever instead of w0 and this is a particular point, whenever the value of the function is exactly equal to f of z0, the function is said to be continuous. So the continuity means a function is said to be continuous, that means whenever the first condition limit of f of z, z tends to z0 exists, this is the first condition. Second condition, f of z0 exists, this is the second condition, and third condition, whenever limit of f of z, this is the third condition, whenever limit of f of z, z tends to z0 equal to f of z0. If this condition, these three condition is satisfied, then function is said to be continuous. The function f of z is said to be continuous, at z0 if for each epsilon greater than 0 there exists delta greater than 0 such that mod of f of z minus f of z0 less than epsilon whenever z minus z0 is less than delta. If this condition is satisfied, the function is said to be continuous function. So this is again an very important concept in terms of in the complex analysis. Now let us see the composition of continuous function. If I have two functions, suppose I have this function, this is my suppose point z having circle delta, this is domain or circle. Let me draw a circle exactly. Okay, so I will delete it. Now suppose let us draw a circle, somehow it will be circle. Now this is z0, this is delta, and for this region let us define a function f of z. Suppose this is an function f of z, then this point is an f of z0. Suppose this is a of. Now let us take another function. Suppose there is another function g of w. Suppose these are the points w, then this function g of f of z, directly we can see that the direct domain of this function is this region g of f of z, and we have to show that this composite function g of f of z is a continuous function. So for this, what will be the statement? A composition of a composition of continuous function, composition of continuous function, composition of continuous function is itself continuous, okay. So let me write what we have taken. Let first, let us prove this. Let capital W equal to f of z. This is the function where we have taken W equal to f of z, be a function defined over this circle, define for all z in the neighborhood. For neighborhood, I'm writing here short form neighborhood mod of z minus z0 less than delta. So these are the points where we have defined a function, okay. Now let us define another function. Let capital W is equal to g of W, okay. So we have defined contain defined for all images, of that neighborhood. Define contains all the images of that neighborhood under f, of that neighborhood under the function f, okay. So this is the neighborhood where we have defined the function g of W. This is my capital W, here g, this is g of W, here f of W, okay, small w, f of z, right. So we have this region composition. Then you can see that capital W is nothing but this g of f of z, and it is defined over the region mod of z minus z0 is less than delta. Then you can see that g of f of z minus g of f of z0 is nothing but is less than epsilon whenever mod of z minus z0 is less than delta. So this is directly you can see that this is for this value, you can see that this is for this values z minus z0 less than delta, this function g of f of z minus g of f of z0 is less than epsilon, or for intermediate step you can write whenever mod of f of z minus f of z0 is less than gamma, okay. Whenever less than gamma, whenever this then whenever this, or directly then limit of g of f of z z tends to z0 equal to g of f of z0, okay. And therefore this function, composite function, is continuous. Now let us see one more theorem on composition. What is that theorem? Let me write the statement. If a function f of z is continuous and non-zero at a point z0, then f of z not equal to 0 throughout some neighborhood of that point of the point z0. So it is given that function is a continuous function. So let us apply the continuous definition of continuity. Let us see the proof. Suppose f is continuous. Suppose f of z is continuous and continuous at z0. Therefore, for epsilon greater than 0, there exists delta greater than 0 such that mod of f of z minus f of z0 is less than epsilon whenever mod of z minus z0 is less than delta. This is for every epsilon. So we choose that epsilon equal to mod of f of z0 divided by 2. Then what we get? F of z minus f of z0 is less than mod of f of z0 divided by 2 whenever mod of z minus z0 is less than delta. Now if possible f of z equal to 0 for some point in mod of z minus z0 is less than delta. So then what we get? Mod of f of z0 is less than mod of f of z0 divided by 2. So this is which is absurd. This is not possible. That means we are seeing that 5 is less than 5 by 2. 5 is less than 5 by 2 like this. This is not possible, quite impossible, and therefore this possibility is a wrong possibility, f of z equal to 0 for some point. So therefore f of z is not equal to 0 in some neighborhood, in the neighborhood of z0, in the neighborhood of z0. So friend, it is all about the limit and continuity of complex numbers. Thank you for watching.